Hello, and welcome to Drag Race Rejudged, where today I will be rejudging Season 15. My current plan for the rejudging series is to work my way back through the main US seasons I haven't already done, then do All-Stars, then start on international franchises, probably with UK. I also made a playlist of the 2 seasons I've already done, so if you're interested in that, it's on my channel. With all that out of the way, episodes 1 and 2 are the talent show. Since we have a cast of 16 queens, I'm gonna give 4 top placements and 4 bottom placements. The top placements will go to Anitra. This needs no explanation. The performance was so good that when the season aired, despite the massive gap in track records and the "I'm amazed by Sasha" comments, I was 100% convinced that Anitra was the frontrunner and had a great shot at winning. That is partially on me, and it is partially on how great this talent show was. Anitra gets the win. The second top placement is gonna go to Jax. Once again, no explanation. The third top placement is gonna go to Marcia. Her performance was really fun and a clear third, so her having a weaker runway is not gonna drag her down. Then the final slot is a fight between Robin Fierce and Princess Poppy. Princess Poppy was by far the funniest of the night and had one of the most unique original tracks on a night with a lot of original tracks. The only argument against her is her runway being incredibly weak, so I will have to take that into account. On the other hand, Robin's dancing and stage presence were really strong here, and her runway was pretty good as well. I went back and forth, but I ultimately decided to go with Poppy. I usually use runways as tiebreakers, but Poppy's concept was just so out of left field and unexpected that I would put her in the top over lip-syncing to an original track, even if there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Now for the bottom queens, we have a fair amount of options. Not many people were truly bad, but there's a lot of contenders for low placements. Malaysia Baby Doll Fox was good on the runway and generally fine in the challenge. It's just that unfortunately she went to the All Stars 9 Roxy Andrews school of recording vocals, and she will be safe. Aura's dancing was underwhelming and kind of disconnected from the song, but she did have a fine runway, so she'll be low. Lucy's dancing was incredibly stiff. Singing live was also not a great choice. I have no issue with people singing live in talent shows, but if you're going to sing an upbeat song and already aren't a strong dancer, both your vocals and performance are going to suffer. Then Amethyst had a really funny concept, but it only kinda works for a TikTok. Her overall performance clocked in at 1 minute and 5 seconds, but the punchline happened 19 seconds in, and there weren't really any jokes after that. Between the two, Lucy will be low, and Amethyst will be in the bottom. The other slot will go to Irene, who loses the lip sync and goes home. Before I move on though, I do want to question Irene's performance a bit. I get that the full version she does live is good, and I mean absolutely no shade, but did she not run this by anyone? I get messing up a talent show in the moment, but if you have time to pre-plan, I feel like someone probably should have warned her, right? Episode 3 is the All Queens Go to Heaven infomercial challenge, and I'll be making the blanket assumption that the new placements are not going to change team selection. With this in mind, the top queens will be the entirety of Team Anitra. This challenge was an absolute bloodbath, and 5 of the 6 queens who did well this week were all on one team. Not only was this team the funniest overall, they also did a great job of giving everyone an individual moment to shine. Anitra, Lux, Selena, and Marcia will all be high, with Sasha Colby getting the win. The rest of the cast is going to get mixed safe critiques, with the bottom 3 staying Jax, Poppy, and Amethyst, who were all pretty much equally bad in the challenge. Jax had a great runway conceptually, but completely faded into the background in the challenge. The only thing that really stuck out to me about her performance was her messing up Shangela's catchphrase. Amethyst had a great runway, but was kind of awkward in the challenge. She was also the team captain, so that should be factored in too. Princess Poppy had a few good ideas. I think it just did not translate to the final video at all. Her runway was also the clear worst of the week, so with all of this in mind, Amethyst is saved by her runway. Jax and Poppy lip sync to Ain't No Mountain High Enough, with Poppy being eliminated. I know that in the past, Jax has been accused of doing too much in lip syncs, but she is absolutely strategic enough to not do whatever it was Poppy was doing in a Diana Ross song. Episode 4 is the Snatch Game, and the only change I have is putting Amethyst in the top over Marcia. They were equally consistent for most of the challenge, but Amethyst had a great standout moment, and Marcia didn't. Amethyst also had a better runway, so I'll factor that in too. Lucy wins with Mistress and Amethyst Amethyst is high, Aura is low, and then Spice sends home Sugar. Episode 5 is the design challenge, and for the tops, I decided on picking the best queen of every group, which are Luxx, Robin, and Sasha. Luxx needs no explanation, but I'll give one anyway. A lot of the best design challenge looks are good within the scope of design challenge, but if we're being realistic, Luxx probably could have brought this from home, and I don't think anyone would bat an eye. Robin was good, there was definitely some room for improvement, but since the entire House of Cressley team was seemingly working with less materials than the others, I am fine giving her a pass. Sasha Colby was great. While parts of it did look kind of design challengey, someone absolutely could have brought this from home, and I probably wouldn't have batted an eye. With all this in mind, Luxx will still get the win. I'm also keeping the original bottom two of Amethyst and Selena because of Amethyst's look being badly styled, and Selena's look being messy and somewhat ill-fitting. For the low placement, I was stuck between Spice and Aura, but I'm gonna go with Aura. Both queens went for the exact same silhouette, and it went equally bad for both of them. Since the looks were both relatively equal, Spice is going to be saved by the personal styling choices she made. While they were not particularly detailed, she made purple bracelets, purple ribbon on her shoes, and used a wig with a fair amount of purple highlights in it. That level of attention to detail is going to take her look from a 2 out of 10 to a 2.1 out of 10, and she will be safe. Regardless, Selena sends home Amethyst. Episode 6 is Girl Groups. The big issue I had with this challenge when it originally aired was that it presented Metal as the winning team in the challenge since they had 2 out of 3 top queens including the winner. I don't think that was fair or accurate, so I'm gonna do what production did on All-Star 6. The winning team for the challenge is Team Country, so Mistress, Luxx, Selena, and Marcia will all be high, but the overall winner of the challenge is Sasha since she was the strongest individually and shouldn't get dragged down by her team. All 5 queens will go back to Untucked, and the remaining 7 will be critiqued. Lucy, Aura, and Malaysia will all get safe critiques with a bottom 4 of Anitra, Jax, Spice, and Robin. Looking at them individually, Spice is in a very weird situation for me. If this was her genuinely trying to do the challenge, it was really bad, but if it was her trying to do how Spice would be if she was an old lady, then it actually kind of works, I think. Jax and Robin fall into the exact same category for me. They had fine verses, but they kept swapping between being drag queen old ladies and just themselves in old lady costumes. Being really old ladies throwing out all kinds of tricks could have been funny, but from my perspective, it very clearly was not being done in a funny tongue-in-cheek way. This is just what they did. Anitra had my favorite verse and best performance of the 4. Unfortunately, she did not know her words, which takes away a lot of points. Factoring in runways and performances, Jax and Robin are moved up to low, with Anitra absolutely mopping the floor with Spice. I don't think I have the words to describe how much of a landslide this is. Like, Anitra can't lip sync against Spice. Do y'all think that's fair? Episode 7 is the acting challenge, and for the sake of keeping things as fair as possible, I'm gonna give the role Spice originally had to Robin. I don't know if that's exactly how it would play out, especially with Sasha assigning roles, but in my opinion, it is fairer than trying and failing to reassign all the roles from Sasha's perspective. The top 4 will stay exactly the same. In my opinion, Anitra and Marcia did the best in the cheesy sitcom acting aspect of the challenge and will both place high. At the end of the day, Drag Race acting challenges are 90% just scripted comedy challenges, and with that in mind, Mistress and Malaysia blew everyone out of the water, so I'm giving both of them a win. The bottoms will also stay the same, just with Robin taking Spice's place. I don't really see her pulling off this type of character. With that said, based on previous challenges, I just can't envision Robin being as forgettable or bad as Jax and Aura were. Robin places low, and Jax sends some Aura to sweet as pie. Episode 8 is the Lollapalooza. I'm gonna try and be as fair and objective as possible. I'm just gonna go through these like a lightning round, and if anyone needs clarification in the comments, let me know. Round 1, Malaysia picks Marcia, Marcia picks Boys Don't Cry, and wins. Round 2, Lucy is selected, and since there is no longer a clear weakest in Spice, she has to choose someone else. The big threats are Anitra, Sasha, Jax, and probably Selena after the Janelle Monáe lip sync, and I don't see her choosing any of them. That leaves Robin, who is her closest friend there, Mistress, and Luxx. Of the 3, I think her strongest bet is Mistress, so Lucy chooses Mistress, Mistress picks Tell It To My Heart, and wins. In round 3, Lux wanted someone who would pick the song she wanted. Robin is likelier than Selena. Robin chooses the right stuff, and Lux mops the floor with her. In round 4, Jax chooses Selena, assuming she wouldn't go for the ballad. Selena picks It's All Coming Back to Me Now and wins. Round 5 is I'm in Love with a Monster. Sasha absolutely killed it, but the format allows for a double save, and Anitra did really well here too, so this is going to be the double save of the season. In round 6, Malaysia gets selected and picks Lucy. My immediate thought is that Lucy would go for the Joan Jett song, but it was an open secret at that point that Malaysia didn't know the words to Don't Go yet. Lucy is gonna choose that, and she's not gonna win as much as Malaysia loses. Round 7 is Jax and Robin to Do You Wanna Touch, and Jax 100% wins this. Robin's entire arc on the season was about being too poised and risk-averse, so I have no doubt Jax takes this. Then finally, round 8 is going to be Robin and Malaysia lip-syncing to Finally, and I think Robin takes it home. Her talent show was to a house rap song, and Finally is a house song. For once, she has a song that was fully in her wheelhouse, and Malaysia was just off her game that night. Episode 9 is The Ball. Up on the screen is the point system I created based on the looks we saw, and Jax and Robin's previous performances in design challenges. Sasha and Mistress are tied at 17 points. The final look is a deciding factor, so Mistress wins, and Sasha is high. Anitra is third at 14 points and will place high. Lux and Marcia got 13 points while Robin got 12. All three will be safe. Lucy got 8 points and will place low. Selena and Jax got 5 and 4 points respectively and will be the bottom two. This is Selena's second bottom compared to Jax's third, so Selena's track record will not save her. Jax dominates the lip sync and Selena is eliminated in 9th place. Episode 10 is the 50-50 interview challenge, and I think we have a pretty clear top 4 and bottom 4, so I'm just not going to have safe queens this week. The top queens are going to be Sasha, Lux, Lucy, and Anitra. Sasha and Anitra's interviews were just all around fun. I don't have much to say other than they were a good 3rd and 4th place and will both be high. The top 2 queens for the challenge are Lux and Lucy, and there's an argument for both of them winning, but I'm going to give the win to Lux for 2 reasons. Number 1, runways. If queens are tied in a challenge, runways should usually break that tie, and Lux did a much better job fitting the category and emulating the look she chose. Then number 2 is difficulty. Lux and Lucy both did equally well in the interviews, but Lucy was sitting and talking, Lux was getting driven around in circles on a golf cart. I don't want to take away from how hard interviewing is, but Lux had a much harder job, and with that in mind, she gets the win. Then for the bottoms, we have Robin, Jax, Marcia, and Mistress. For the sake of the rejudging, let's say Robin takes Malaysia's place in interviews Frankie Grande, with Jax taking Selena's place with Love Connie. I don't see either one of them doing well here, so I'm gonna save 2 queens based on vibes and where they could have improved. The first saved queen is gonna be Marcia. She definitely struggled in the interview, but I can't name anything she could have done better. Charo has an accent, and at the end of the day, you either understand it or you don't. Marcia will be low. The second queen I'm gonna save is Mistress. She also really struggled in the interview, but I don't know what she could have done better. Love Connie was genuinely just not answering the questions Mistress was asking. I don't know how you get past that. Mistress will be low based off that and her runway. Jax and Robin lip sync to Single Ladies, and while this is Jax's 4th bottom to Robin's 2nd, Jax would absolutely kill this song, and I just can't see Robin doing well enough to justify staying. For the sake of fairness, I ran both scenarios, and this makes virtually no impact on the season. If Robin stayed over Jax, they would literally just be swapping placements. Episode 11 is the comedy challenge, and to keep things as fair as possible, Robin will take Selena's spot and be on a team with Mistress. The winning team is going to be Lux and Lucy. They were the only consistently funny group, and Selena was the only person even close to their level. With her gone, I can't imagine Mistress's concept coming together as okay as it did, so the rest of the queens will be judged individually. The safe/high queen is going to be Mistress. I'm not quite sure what she would do without Selena to make her concept work, but I also can't imagine her being anywhere near as bad as the remaining 4. Marcia was originally eliminated on this episode, and while I still fully agree with the way that played out on the original season, she is no longer second worst. I will also give her a lot of credit for doing as well as she did as a non-comedy queen doing a comedy challenge alone. All this in mind, Marcia will be low. On the original season, Sasha was low, and she will stay as low. Her and Anitra completely bombed their way through this challenge, but Sasha saved herself at the literal last second with her joke about Michelle's balls. Then Anitra was just like Sasha, but without the 11th hour surge. Then finally, Jax is a wild card, being on a team with Mistress, but I have to imagine she does terribly here. She has been in the bottom 5 times, 3 of which were for comedy challenges, and even if her confidence wasn't shot, which I have to assume it would be at this point, I just don't see this going well. Anitra and Jax lip sync, and Jax is eliminated in 7th place. Episode 12 as the Rusical, I will start off by saying that no one is going home tonight. This is my favorite Rusical of all time, and it would be even stronger collectively if Marcia were there. Since Marcia is now here, we may need to recast the Rusical. Since this is a completely contained non-elimination episode, I will be looking at both scenarios. Mistress will play Preacher Teacher, Anitra plays Mama Bacon, Lux plays Christian, and Sasha plays Carl. The big debate here is going to be on whether Lucy or Marcia will play Heaven and which one will get Tuck. Marcia has now gone 12 weeks without a win and would absolutely fight Lucy for the role, especially with Mistress egging her on. Scenario 1 has Lucy as Heaven, with Marcia taking the role of Tuck. Tuck is a terrible role. You get a duet song with Christian and pretty much nothing of note outside of that. I don't doubt that Marcia would do really well in this role, but you can only do so much with it, even with a musical theater background. In this scenario, we have a clear top 3 of Anitra, who is the strongest, then Mistress and Lucy are tied for 2nd, with everyone else as high safe. Looking at runways, yeah, Mistress is top 2. Anitra and Mistress lip sync to Running Up That Hill. Anitra would put up a very strong fight, but I do think Mistress is going to take this one home. Scenario 2 has Marcia as Heaven, with Lucy taking the role of Tuck. With this new distribution, the judging is a lot clearer. The top 3 is going to be Anitra, Mistress, and Marcia. While Lucy and Mistress were even, I can easily see Marcia doing much better than Lucy did. Taking that into account, Lux, Sasha, and Lucy are all high safe, Mistress is high, and the top 2 are Anitra and Marcia. With this new matchup, Anitra will win the lip sync and get the win. Since I don't know which scenario is likelier, I'm going to count this as a win for both Mistress and Anitra. Ultimately, in the end, it's not going to make much of a difference. Episode 13 is the makeover. Given Marcia's runways and makeup this season, as much as she improved, I just don't see her pulling off a great makeover. The following is what I'm leaning towards for the judging. Number 1, Anitra gets the win. The looks are fun and show a very clear family resemblance, but they also have different enough hair and accessories that it's not just twins. Number 2, Sasha is high. The dresses were beautiful, the hair and accessories were different but still on theme. The only thing that stops her from taking the win is the padding. It's really good if your padding is your biggest flaw, but the padding was, very visible. Number 3, Lucy is high. She did a good job overall and her partner looked great. The main thing that's holding her down is that she's bordering on the famous makeover pitfall of making yourself look better than your partner. Then number 4, Mistress is low. She created a Brooks, the hair was right, the outfit and presentation were great, the makeup was definitely a bit rough, and hers did look better than her partner's, but Lux and my mental image of what Marcia would have done are worse. Lux and Marcia are the bottom 2 here. Lux did not connect with their daughter in either style or in the makeover, and Marcia's runways all season were on the more basic side, which does not lend well to a makeover. Lux and Marcia lip sync to Summers for the girls, and while Marcia probably wins the lip sync like 55-45, she falls into the same bucket as Morphine, where she simply does not have the track record to take out a frontrunner. Lux has 3 wins and no bottoms, Marcia has maybe 1 top 2 and no bottoms. In the end, Marcia will go home in 6th place. Episode 14 is the Rumix. Sasha gets the win, she ate every aspect of this challenge, and the best part is that she literally did not even need to. Pretty much every winner of a Drag Race final challenge has needed the boost to their track record going into the end to either keep them in contention or keep themselves on top. I am being dead serious. Sasha literally could have not recorded a verse, not done the music video, walked the runway with a lip sync SmackDown outfit, won the lip sync, and still have been the clear frontrunner going into the finale. Lux places high, she was great in the challenge, she was right behind Sasha. The only thing dragging her down is some minor issues with her final runway, but all around a great job. Next is Anitra, who will be safe/low. She was the definite best on the final runway. She struggled a bit with the choreo, but got it in the end, and outside of the stomping on Roach's part, her verse was pretty okay too. I definitely agree that she was bottom 2 worthy on the original season, but at the end of the day, Anitra was fine, and I can't pass up ending the season with a Mistress Lucy lip sync. Mistress was the clear weakest in the music video, and given Lucy's performing skills, I just can't see her outdoing Anitra. Mistress and Lucy lip sync to When Love Takes Over, Mistress wins, and we move on to the exact same final four as the original season. Episode 15 is the reunion, there's nothing to rejudge there, so episode 16 is the finale. Looking at track record, Sasha is the frontrunner with 3 wins and no bottoms, Lux is in second with 3 wins and a bottom, Mistress is third with 2.5 wins and a bottom, and then Anitra is fourth with 2.5 wins and 2 bottoms. Based on the finale performances, Sasha is going to be top 2 and Mistress is going to be cut, although I partially blame production for giving her such a terrible song compared to everyone else. The final slot in the top 2 is a toss-up, so I'm going to make the case for both. Anitra is 4th in track record, but when you factor in highs and lows, she is barely behind Lux. Anitra is also going to benefit from winning the fan vote in a landslide and getting what I want to say over 3 or 4 times as many votes as Lux. There is also the factor that Anitra's original finale performance had to be redone last minute because her dancer was injured. If I were producing the season, I would have accounted for that and had extra dancers on hand, so her performance is much stronger than it originally was. Then on the other hand, Lux is 2nd in track record, only behind Sasha, and while she's dead last in the fan vote, that can't be the only factor considered. I also have to consider that based on the actual performances we saw on the original season, Lux was better than Anitra. With all this in mind, it doesn't matter. I think I would go with Anitra if not a top 3, but like, was Sasha ever losing this? Full credit where credit is due, production backed the right horse. There have been several times where they have gone into a season with a clear winner in mind, and while season 15 is no exception, Sasha was barely boosted once and absolutely dominates the season even without being production's pick to win. I'm not going to name names, but that is not the case for every queen production has preferred going into the season.
Do you want non-Emmy nominated gay shit? Well then you should check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.